Democrats are under attack. Republicans are threatening to take back Congress. And the Tea Party is creating controversy that some say has racial undertones. So what is the Congressional Black Caucus doing to keep Democrats in power? In our all-access interview, I talk politics with California Congresswoman and chair of the CBC, Barbara Lee. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being here. I know it's a very busy time for Democrats in particular. There are all kinds of predictions coming out. People are saying the House might be lost, the Senate might be lost. People are saying voters aren't going to turn out. How are you feeling right now about everything?
I'm feeling a sense of urgency. It's very important that the African American community get energized to come out to vote in November. Casting that historic vote for our great President Barack Obama was just the beginning. And what's important is that we understand the political process and recognize that in order for change to occur, we have to stay involved. That's the essence of democracy.
You talked about there being a lot of first-time voters in 2008, and we saw so much energy from young people, from celebrities, from everybody in getting President Obama elected. Now, many of the voters now feel as if their work is done, as you said, but they also seem to feel as if nothing's happened. What do you say to people who say that we voted for change and we don't quite see it manifesting yet?
I would say to those voters that, first of all, change is really hard. It took us this far and this long to get this far. And so when you look at the historic legislation, for instance, that's been passed, my goodness, healthcare reform, that is so big. That is so essential to the African American community. That was a big fight. But we made a great first step and established a foundation for universal and affordable healthcare. And also, I have to say, when you look at the numbers of jobs that the Bush administration had not created and the job loss that was taking place, and when you look at now what has taken place in our economy, of course, we have not created enough jobs, but we've stopped the hemorrhaging, and things are moving in the right direction.
Do you think the press response and the media response, and maybe even the country's response, might be different if, say, the president weren't black?
Well, we don't know. Again, all we have is history to look at. We have to look at what happened during the last administration, previous administration. Of course, I believe the race is still a factor. We have to understand this is not a post-racial America, and understand that there are those who would like to see him fail for a variety of reasons. And so if we try to sweep race under the rug, then we will have not really addressed the entire picture and the entire moment. And we have to understand that we must move forward, and that the issues of race and the issues of discrimination and racism and sexism and all of the inequalities that still exist in our country are there, and we have to fight and move forward to try to correct those.
Well, there's one group of people who feel like they're being excluded. I'm talking about the Tea Party. And they are on the right, and they are visible, and they are starting to influence statewide elections. They're everywhere. People are talking about them. What does it mean that we have this kind of Tea Party movement at the same time that we have these pressing issues in our country? I mean, is the Tea Party a sign that we're moving in the wrong direction? Is it a sign that maybe something's going wrong? I mean, what does it mean to have a Tea Party right now?
Well, I think it means that there are many opportunities, first of all, to organize. And I say, of course, I totally disagree with the Tea Party. But in a democracy, everyone has the right to petition their government. And so I say to the African American community, to communities who are struggling, who've been marginalized, we need to make that kind of noise. We need to march, we need to rally, we need to petition our government, hold your elected officials accountable.
I want to talk about perhaps the most important vote cast in the last 10 years in the Congress at all. And I'm talking about your vote in 2001. Planes go into the towers. The nation is petrified. George Bush asked Congress to authorize him to do whatever he needs to do. Everyone authorizes it except one person. You.
September 11th changed the world. Our deepest fears now haunt us. Yet I am convinced that military action will not prevent further acts of international terrorism against the United States.
What were you thinking?
Well, first, that was such a tragic time. It was a terrible time for the families and victims, and I still pray for them. And it was because of the tragic moment that I thought Congress should step back for a moment and be rational about a response. The resolution that came to the Congress 3 days after the horrific attack was a resolution that gave not only President Bush, but any subsequent president a blank check to use force anywhere in the world. And that resolution, as it was written, said the president is authorized to use force against any organization, nation, individual he or she deems connected to 9/11. Now, that resolution did not target Al-Qaeda. It did not target Afghanistan. It was so unspecified, it was scary. First of all, Congress has the constitutional responsibility to declare war. You don't give any president the power of the people to declare war. So that's the first problem. Secondly, it was a blank check. That resolution has been used for wiretapping. It's been used as the basis for the war, which we should not have fought in Iraq. I'm trying to get that resolution repealed, and so I've introduced a resolution to repeal that authorization.
What are the challenges of being an African-American woman trying to make change in Washington?
Well, we have 14 great African-American women in the Congressional Black Caucus, and these women are the boldest and the most brilliant members of Congress. They're incredible. And I am telling you, we bring our unique perspective to public policy. For example, I was on public assistance. I raised 2 children as a single mom. And we have to fight these battles, such as cutting food stamps, such as cutting the safety net. And many of us who are African-American women really get it. We know what that's about. And so we have to use our experience and our understanding of impacts of budget cuts and of doing things that would be terrible for people on our deliberations and our decision making. But we still have to face a lot of the stuff that everyone faces, all black women face. And so we can't forget, and I don't think any woman in the Congressional Black Caucus has forgotten from where they came and who they are. And so, I have to take that into my decision making whenever I cast these votes.
Powerful words. Congresswoman, thank you so much for your time.